In this video, we are going to discuss what are reusable widgets, or you can say custom widgets, how to create them and how to use them properly in your Flutter application. So let's start. Okay, so here is our project in Visual Studio Code, and in the lib folder we have a main.dart file in which we have this code, in which we have a main method and we have a stateless widget which is my app, and in here we are returning a material app with these properties, and it is running on my real device. Okay, so first of all we need to create a UI. So I will just create another file and name it anything. I will say home screen dot, and in here we have to create a widget. So I will create a stateless widget. If you want to create stateful, you can use that, because I'm just telling you about how to create and use reusable widgets. So I will go with the stateless widget. So here I will change the name of my widget as home screen, and after that I will just use the return property as scaffold. And in this scaffold I will use a app bar and app bar. Okay, so this is our whole home screen. So if you don't know, we just created our first custom widget, or you can say reusable widget, in our application, because now we can use this home screen widget anywhere we want. So let's go to our main.dart, and I want to use this home screen widget as the first screen of our application. So in the material app I will say home screen and pass the home screen here, and now we have to select this one. So if I click on it, it is auto imported, and now we can use it. Let's say if it is not auto imported, we have to type the name and after that use the brackets, and now we have to say control dot, and in here we have to import the file. So just import it and save it, and now we can use this. Okay, so why we create custom widgets, reusable widgets? We create them to reduce the number of lines in our code. And in Flutter, it is very important to keep the widget tree as minimum as possible. So instead going through a big file and finding your required widget, I have just divided the whole screen into multiple widgets, and now I can debug it easily. So if there is an issue with the home screen, I will just go to the home screen widget, and here I will just debug it. This is why we create our custom widgets. Okay, so let's create our body here and use a container for now, and just save it. So consider this as the UI that you want to build. So in here everything can be different, means it can be an image, it can be an icon, it can be circular progress indicator, it can be text field, it can be anything, because in Flutter everything is a widget and every widget is wrapped inside a box. So we have just created these boxes. You can use anything as the child of these boxes, but I'm just trying to say how we can create and use the reusable widgets. So we need to create this UI. So before creating any UI, we first need to decode it so we can create it easily. So let me just select it and okay, change the color. And now if we want to create this kind of UI, so if you just look at it, you can tell that every widget is aligned vertically, means this whole screen is inside a column. So I will just set it as a column. So this green one is the column. And now if you just look at these three containers, these three are aligned horizontally in the same line, means it is a row. So let's set it as a row. Okay, so this row is the first child of our column, and after that this is another container which is the second child of our column, and now these two boxes are also aligned horizontally, means it is also a row, and after that it is also a row. So the third and fourth child of this column are rows. And after that this is a container and this is a container, means this is the fifth child and this is the sixth child of our column. So let's create it. So go back to your code, and in here instead of this container just change it to a column, because we know our screen is wrapped inside a column. So in this column let's say first child second child, third child, fourth child, and fifth child, and then sixth child. Okay, so for the first child, we know that we need to create a row in which we have to create these three containers. So let's create a row as the first child, and in this row use the children and use a container here and set the width 200 and height 200, and also change the color to color start red and just save it. Okay, so we have created the first container. So as we need three of them, so I will just copy it and paste it 3 times and just save it. So here are the 3 containers, but their color is same. So let's change them. So the first container will be green, and the second one will be amber, and the third one is red. So here are our containers with different colors. But if you just look at it, everything except the color is same, mean their height and width is same, but only the background color of them is changed. And in our code, they are using our space from line 14 to line 29, means they are using 14 lines of code. So as I told you that we need to minimize the widget tree as much as possible. And if you just look at it, everything is same except the color. So to reduce the widget tree, what can we do? Let's create another file in our lib folder and name it anything, custom container dot. You can name it anything. And after that, let's create a widget. So it can be stateless or stateful. So if you want to change the state of your widget, you can use stateful widget. Otherwise, you can use stateless. So I will go with the stateless one and name our widget as custom container, and here we are returning a container. So let's go to our home screen and just copy these 3 properties and paste it here. And now we need to import the colors. So control dot and here import material dot, and the error is removed. So we just created another reusable widget. And in our home screen, instead of using these 3 containers, just remove them and use your custom container here and just save it. So here is our custom container. So as we need 3 of them, I will just copy it and paste it 2 times. So we are getting 3 containers, but there is an issue that the color of them is same, but we want different colors. Now we know that everything except the color will be same, so only the color is need to be changed. So let's create a parameter up here, so it will be final. And now we have to tell the type of our variable, so it will be color, because if we just put our mouse here, we can see that it is a type of color. So if you don't know the type, you can set it as dynamic. Because we know the type, we will set it as color, so we can only get color type of color. And after that, we have to name our parameter, which will be my color. Okay, so we just created one, and now we need to initialize it. So in this constructor, after this super dot key, let's use a comma and set this dot my color. And now there is an issue that they're saying either make this my color required or set it as nullable. So if you want to set it as nullable, just add a question mark here and the error will be removed. But we want to make it as required, because if we don't pass the color, our widget won't work and it will keep showing this kind of error. So let's set it as required because it is necessary. And after that, just use this parameter where you want. So as we created this for our color property, so I will use it as color. So let's go to our home screen, and in here, as you can see, it is red line, means we are getting some issue here. So let's see, we need to pass this my color and pass color start red, and now the error is removed. Let's pass the my color of our second custom container, and it will be color start amber, and my color of third will be color start green and just save it. Okay, so every container is of different color. Okay, so let's go back to our UI, and we have done the first part, so just set it as done. And now we need to create the second widget. And if you just look at it, we are using this same container, means the height and width is same as the fifth and sixth child of our column. So let's create it as a reusable widget also. So I will just create another file and name it as long container dot, and in here I will create another stateless widget and name it as long container. And as this is also a container, I will just change the width to, let's say, 250 and height to 30, or you can use 40, and the change of color to color start red. And just import it and save it. Okay, so go back to your home screen, and now you can use your long container as the second child of your column. So here is our second child. Let's change the color of it, so it will be purple. Okay, so two of our childs are done. Let's go to the third one. Let's mark it also. Okay, so as the third child of our column is a row, and in this row we are using two big boxes. So let's create it. First we need to wrap them in a row, and after that let's use children, and in here use a container with a width of 150 and height of 150, as those are big boxes, and change the color to color start cyan, and just save it. Okay, so this is our big box. Let's just copy it and paste it here and change the color to green. Okay, so these two are big boxes inside of a row. So if you just look at your UI, you have just done the third child, and now the fourth child is also same. So what you can do here, you can make this whole row as a reusable widget. So just create another file and say row containers dot, and in here stateless widget and say row containers. And instead of this container, I will just copy all this row and cut it, and now return it here. Import our material and save it. So go back to your home screen and use this row containers as your third child and save it. So here are the third child, and as we know that the fourth child is also same, what we can do here, we can call this row containers again and just save it. So here is the fourth child. Okay, but there is an issue that both of these row containers are using the same colors, but we want to change the color from the bottom row, means the fourth child. So how can we do that? So go to your row containers, and in here you need to create a parameter just like we have already done. So final and color, and now you need to add the color, which is our row container color. Okay, so now we need to initialize it, so it will also be required, and this dot row container color. And now we need to use this color as our this green, so it will be our row container color, and just save it. So after that, go to home screen, and as you can see that the third and fourth child are giving some error, so we need to pass our row container color here. So it will be color start purple, and we also need to pass it so row and color start our black, and just save it. So as you can see, in the first row our second container is of color purple, and in our second row, means the fourth child, the color is black. So let's just change it to colors dot round, so we can show some difference. So here we use the same container but different colors in them. So go back to your UI, and our fourth child is also done. So for the fifth and sixth child, we can use the second child. So go back to your UI, and in here you can just copy this and paste it as your fifth child and then your sixth child. And here is your long container, but we also need to change their color. So go inside them and use a parameter up here, final of color, and say long container color, and just initialize it as this dot long container color and make it as required. And now you can use this color as the color property, so long container color. And now we need to pass the color, so it will be color start red, and after that it will be color start, let's say blue, and it will be long container color and color start green, and just save it. So everything is of different color now, means we use the same container multiple times but with different properties. Okay, so we have just created the whole UI in our home screen dot with from line 13 to line 40, means in 27 lines of code we have done all this. So let's add some space between them. For that I will just change the main axis alignment of my column to space evenly and save it. Okay, so every widget is separate now. Now what if I tell you that you can create all of these using a single container? Means, for example, using our custom container we can create this container, this and everything. So how can you do that? So let's first remove everything from here. So first child removed, second removed, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Let's remove them. So let's use a single custom container and change the color to color start red and just save it. And if you just look at the UI, you can see that these three containers are same, but this is different, and these two are same. So how can we create this using one single container? So go back to your custom container, and as I told you that we can customize them as we want. So first we were just changing the color of them, and now as we want a small and big box, so we need to add custom height and width also. So that will be, the width will be in double and height will be in double also. So we will set double and it will be our my width, and after that we will create another one for height, so it will be double and my height. So now we need to initialize them. So these two are also required. So required this dot my height and required this dot my width. And now we want to use their property as the width and height of our container. So I will just set them as my height, my width and my height, and just save it. And now in our home screen we need to pass their value also. So just use a comma and set my height as 100 and my width as 100 and just save it. And you can see there is no difference in the UI, but we are using our custom heights and width here. And in here in this row we want to generate 3 of them. So just wrap this in a row, and now you can change the color. So the color will be green and the color will be amber, and just save it. Restart your application. So here in our row we are using our custom container with custom color, height and width. So if you want to change the height and width of any of these, you can set it. Let's set the height of our center container to 50. So now this is a 50 height. So let's go to our UI, and now we have to work on the second child. So I will just use the same my custom container. So custom container, and now we have to pass the color. So color will be color start purple, and here the height will be 50 and the width will be 200. Okay, so using the same custom container we have created this, and after that we have to create our row in which we are using these two big boxes. So we created our row containers here, so go to that widget. So in here, instead of repeating these two containers, let's remove them and use your custom container here. As I told you that these are reusable and you can use them anywhere you want. So for my color, we will use this row containers color. So row containers color, and the height will be 150 and the width will be 150. Just copy it, paste it again, and now the color will be according what we pass. Let's change the height width to 180 and height will be same, and just save it. Go back to your home screen, and here in the third child use your row containers, and now you have to pass the row container color. So it will be color start cyan, and after that for the fourth child you have to use your row containers again, and in here you have to pass your row container color, which will be color start amber, or you can use orange, and just save it. As you can see that both are of same color, so if you want different colors in them you can create two parameters. So let's create another one. So final color, and it will be second container color, and after that just initialize it as required, and this starts second container color, and in here just use this second container color as any container color you want. So it will be second container color, and just save it. And now we have to pass the second color. So second container color will be color start black, and here the second container color will be color start red, and just save it. And now we have to restart our application. So as you can see, using the same custom container we are using different colors in this row. So let's go back to our UI, and in here we need to use the second child as the fifth and sixth child, but with different colors. So what I will do, I will just copy this and paste it here and here also, and now we can set their height and width as I told you. So the height will be 100 of the sixth container, and the color will be color dot green, and save it. Okay, so using the same one container we created this whole UI again. So this is how reusable widgets works. You can create them once and use them whenever and however you want. So I hope everything is clear. If there is any question, you can ask in comments, and if you enjoyed this video, press that like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing incoming content. So see you in the next one. Till that, Allah Hafiz.